Hi! Welcome! And welcome back!
Thanks for joining us!
We're back!
I'm Sue!
I'm Michael!
And we are a close-knit family.
Coming to you with our second start today on this sunny Sunday, January 6th, 2019. This is episode 38. We are a knitcast coming to you from Armstrong in the North Okanagan region of British Columbia, Canada.
Whew!
Yeah.
And we are following Mike's adventures as a newer knitter and my ongoing yarn and knitting addiction. Yes, we are. And so, as Mike already mentioned, it is sunny out today.
Sunny and clear,
a little
which,
windy.
yeah, this time of year means it is heckin' cold.
Is it? Because the temperature, when I checked on my temperature
scarf,
purposes,
yes.
it's like 7 degrees.
Oh, is it? Oh no, I walked back here and it was like, it's cold!
And that's Celsius, by the way, so
yeah.
that's something above 32 degrees for our American friends. All right, now, so, alongs.
We don't have any going right now?
Yeah, we do.
We do? Temperature scarf along! You know, we spent all of last year talking about it, and
Mike's really into this temperature scarf.
so into it, I haven't even started yet.
He just, mind blowing, doesn't know what to do.
And now I'm test knitting something, so I need to work on that post haste.
Well, you need to get your temperature thing started and just do the row or two you have to do every day. So here is the beginning of my temperature scarf.
Oh, isn't that nice?
As you can see, not a lot going on.
Well, there's some blues and purples and
we might get a new color in there today.
Ooh.
Because even 7 as a high is going to be a new color.
What colors are you using? Or what yarns?
Well, these yarns are from Allison Barnes Yarn. And they are her Struggle and Strength line. Yeah.
Yep, and on that subject, since we haven't mentioned it in a while, Allison Barnes has graciously given us a discount code for you guys to use. If you go to Allison Barnes' store and use the code CLOSEKNIT20 anytime before January 31st, that's the end of this month, you get 20% off your order.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you, Allison. And so, just on that note, I am using the pattern Zigzag Scarf. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. I just used the number of stitches that work best for me. I don't want this to be a super big wide scarf. And I just added stitches on each side to do an I-cord edge just because I like that.
You're really liking those I-cord edges.
But what this allows me to do is I'm carrying the yarns up inside this I-cord. So while I'm still working in similar temperature ranges, I'm not cutting the yarns. And even if I carry it over, you know, a couple of rows, it's still less yarn use than cutting it, weaving it in, and starting a new one and weaving it in. So, yeah, at some point I will start cutting, but again, even when I cut them, I'll be able to catch those ends into the I-cord edge. So, well, and you know what? So, in case you don't know how to do that, it's really quite simple.
Yeah.
I do a 3-stitch I-cord edge. I put, so at the beginning of each row, no matter, like on the front side, at the beginning of each row, I knit 3 stitches. And at the end, the last 3 stitches at the end of the row is
knit the first one, yarn to front, slip the other 2.
What he said.
I've just been doing that a lot, so it's kind of...
Knit 1, yarn front, slip 2 stitches. So that when you turn it around, you do your knit 3 again.
Hi, Tasha!
And what that does is
because
you've slipped the 2 last stitches, anyway, it pulls them in and you get this nice kind of rolled, very nicely finished edge.
It is, yes, it is.
And I just like that, and it's easy to do. You can just put it on the end or edge of anything. Yep. I'm just going to get the door now.
Okay. Well, yeah, my temperature scarf, I haven't quite begun yet. I just haven't started yet. Sometimes that happens with me. So I'll try to start that in the week.
Well, you're very kindly doing some other knitting for me. And that's taking up your time. So there we go. So temperature scarf along. There is a or blanket or
temperature
along
garment accessory.
Whatever. They're yeah. Thread in Ravelry, close knit family on Ravelry in groups. And yeah, there's a thread for that. So if you do decide to do one, right now I'm the only one in there. I think I'm going to be lonely again.
I'll get in there shortly.
Yeah, show us what yarns you're using.
Yep.
And
maybe a breakdown of what your temperature ranges are.
That's an interesting idea because it'll be different depending on where you are in the world.
Yep.
Like anyone in the extreme ends. So the northerly people
and the equatorial people.
Can I finish?
Sorry.
The northerly people will have a very broad range of temperatures, and the very southerly people will have a very broad range of temperatures that they're covering. And the anyone who's closer to the equator will. So in my case, I'm doing like 5 and 10 degree spaces between things. But someone who's closer to the equator may choose to do 2 or 3 degrees difference, or. Yeah.
Yep.
So, interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Oh my gosh. So, got all of our Christmas stuff put away.
Got all our Christmas stuff put away. While I wasn't looking, because I was conveniently at work.
You lucky duck. And actually I was kind of happy because I got to put it all, pack it all away this year.
Because at the start of this year when we were pulling everything out, you were like, who put all this away? This is all in the wrong place.
It was a mess. I was like, why would you do that? But anyway, so it all got put away the way I like it. We'll see how much I complain next year.
Yep. And we'll have video evidence that you put it all away.
Yes, it was on me. But as I put away, if you've watched our Christmas tree little vlogmas thing that we did. I did a quick sort of scan and view of our tree skirt, and I realized I never really explained about that.
You never really talked about it.
So our tree skirt, I made that, I believe it was 2001.
I do think that's the first year that's on it.
It might have been the year 2000, I'm not sure. Anyway, I just have a big red circle of felt. Big red felt, and I put a little gold ribbon around, hole in the middle, split down the back to make it a tree skirt. And then with gold, just acrylic craft paint, we have the kids' handprints going around the outside of it every year for about 5 or 6 years. Yep. And it says the Garen's family, and it's got mom and dad's handprints on it and stuff. Anyway, so it's just kind of a neat thing, and it's a neat keepsake. I know you put your hand down.
Yeah, and I think the first year, like my palm fit my current palm fit around my hand. So
yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's fun that way. But I decided that it was time to give it a bath.
Yeah. I don't know when the last time
it's never been washed. Because it's like it's a tree skirt, right? Yeah. You pack it up and you put it away.
What do you do? Well, why would you need to wash it?
But there was a kind of a big brown stain on it, and I think I remember that from possibly even a couple years ago.
Ooh.
I don't know. And it looks like maybe like coffee or a Coke or something got spilled on it. Okay. So I was like, okay, I should do that. So of course then I was thinking, I'm not going to throw it in the washing machine. So basically I washed it the same way I would a sweater. And I filled up a sink and put in my wool wash and just let it soak, and then kind of squished the water out and rinsed it out. And yeah, the color that came out wasn't very pretty, but that's all good. And then, yeah, got it, hang it up to dry. And this is, I don't know, this might be too nasty for some people, but I picked it up today to, like, okay, I need to move it from where it was sort of hanging, which it was hanging in the bathtub so it could drip.
Yeah.
Because I didn't quite know. I didn't want to wring it because of the paint that's on it and stuff. So it was like, okay, it's dry enough now. I can move it somewhere so it can hang sort of near a heater.
Yeah.
And just dry a little bit more quickly. And as I just sort of picked it and I went to fold it to move it, I realized that there were like streaks where possibly a cat, maybe a dog had barfed. It was just this hard, crusty stuff going across. And I was like, how the heck did I miss that?
How did you miss that?
How did I don't know if that happened this year or if it happened in previous years, and how could I possibly have missed it? Anyway, so I went and used actually a fingernail brush and
scrubbed it all out.
Got all the dried off, and anyway. So that's the story of the tree skirt. It finally got washed, and it actually does look quite. It looks nice. It's bright.
Good.
It's bright again.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's hanging,
since it's been cleaned. So.
Hanging by the window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have another sort of silly story.
Okay.
And I don't think my friend. I will not give her name. And people who are part of our knitting group. They'll know. They may have heard the story and they may not. So this is my way of keeping some people who haven't been to knitting for a little while in the loop. So one of our friends who knits with us last year had the opportunity to go on a trip over to Europe, and I think they pretty much hung out in Spain.
Okay.
Not 100% sure, but I think they're pretty much mostly in Spain.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
Anyway, to cut that part. While on the trip, they decided that they had just like too much stuff to bring home.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm beginning to remember this story now.
Well, have I not told you the end of this story?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna kill yourself.
Okay.
Well, don't kill yourself. Then.
No.
So they pack up a box of stuff to ship home.
Yeah. Cool.
Great. Lots of people do this.
Yes.
It's not unheard of.
Yes.
So they get home. And they're waiting for this package to come home.
I have heard the story, I haven't heard the end.
And they're waiting. And eventually, I'm not exactly sure, how or exact circumstances, but they found out that indeed the package was not going to be coming home because somewhere along the way, it had been rejected for shipping. And so it had been shipped back to a little post office in a little town in Spain. And they are here in Canada, on the west coast of Canada, going, but our stuff is in Spain.
Yeah.
And one of the things my friend was particularly concerned about was a shawl that she had been working on and that she had packed in this box. And it was made, it was being knit with a pricier yarn.
Oh, yeah.
So, she's thinking like, it's got really good yarn in there and my shawl, and I want to get my shawl back, and it's over, on the other side of the world, and how are we going to get this back? And of course, they're trying to speak to people at the other end, but my friend doesn't speak Spanish. They don't speak English. It was a bit of a mess. So this happened around about last June, I think. So the subject kind of came up on and off, and at one point, she said, I've really kind of written it off.
Okay.
I don't know how this is ever going to get resolved. Now, I think it was either November or early December, we found out that they'd got their box.
Oh.
So the box got shipped back.
Yay.
Woohoo. And so it was like, yay, your box got shipped back. So you got your yarn back. You can start working on your project.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
The yarn was not, and the scarf that she'd been working on, it's not a scarf, I'm not doing it justice. It's a big wrap.
Yeah.
Was not in the box.
Uh-oh.
So she's like, they stole my yarn. And she was really kind of giving her husband some grief for trusting these people at the other end who'd gone through the box and stolen her expensive yarn.
Yeah.
And just, you know, and that's it. I will never see it again.
Yeah.
Right? It's gone. So about a week ago,
okay,
our friend goes into our local yarn store, a Twist of Yarn in Vernon. And she was, I think she must have been in a class or a sit and knit or something. And the owner of the store comes in carrying a very familiar bag.
Okay.
And said, sorry, I didn't mean to say her name. And said, is this yours? It got left here back in June.
Oh.
And it got kind of, you know, kicked in behind stuff and just sort of found it again. And,
oh, wow.
Well, we think it's yours.
Oh, wow. So it's been in a Twist of Yarn the whole time.
The whole time. So what my friend, whose name I already dropped, thinks happened was that they went to Spain.
Yeah.
They came home.
Yeah.
She went to Twist of Yarn to do a thing.
Yeah.
Left her
the bag
knitting.
there. Yeah.
Went to look for her knitting.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it.
Assumed it was
Her brain, because she knew she had it in Spain, her brain put it into that box.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. But the whole time it's been in Vernon.
Wow. Well,
so it's a happy ending.
Yeah, that's lucky, I suppose.
It's a happy ending, but oh my gosh.
Wow.
We're never going to let you live it down.
No.
So funny.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, so for those of you who missed the story last week in knitting because you weren't there, I won't name any names, Vicky.
Maybe I'll close those blinds.
And yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm getting pretty
You're
sunshine
getting nice,
on
nice.
I want a little vitamin D in my life.
Alrighty.
So a little lighting change.
Yep.
Aren't you lucky? Let's talk about what we're wearing.
I'm wearing the tilted cowl that we did as a knit-along last summer.
Yeah.
And I also entered into the IPE competition.
For first year knitters.
First year knitters, and it won first place. So,
yeah. So it's the Tilted Cowl by Sweater Freaks.
Yes. And it is very nice. Very, very nice.
Jenny F.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I like it very much.
It's one of my more favorite patterns. And I am wearing my Bolero done in the Salish style of knitting, and that is, and I had to adjust the pattern to make it fit me, but that's in Knitting Stories by Sylvia Olsen. I think it's called, I can't remember exactly. There might be a something Bolero, someone's Bolero, or it might just be, anyway.
I don't know, man.
It's in Knitting Stories by Sylvia Olsen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so we didn't acquire anything this week.
I didn't acquire anything this week.
And let's do foes.
Foes. This has been foes.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that was foes. Okay. Whips.
Whips. Work in progress.
Oh, foes. Finished objects.
Foes. Finished objects, yeah.
Finished objects. Works in progress. So, my first work in progress that I was actually working on is my socks.
Woohoo!
They're going to look
They're going.
They're gonna look kind of like these ones.
They're going to look like that. What do they look like now, Mom?
Only they're gonna have a blueberry waffle pattern on them.
Okay, but what do they look like now?
Right now, they're in my bag at another knitting friend's house. Thank you, Pam.
and they're not in Spain.
And they're not in Spain. No, they are definitely with Pam because I left them behind.
Okay.
The other night. So that was kind of silly on my part. What you got going on?
What do I got going on? Well, Mom, I mentioned last week that I was going to do a test knit for you for that one shawl you made, and my only whip right now is me starting on that.
Yeah.
So, should have pulled this out earlier. Anyway, so I'm using some Isis Fiber Arts yarn for this, and here is what is it? No, front side. Here's what I have going so far. So yeah, with the nice I-cord edge, and yeah, just some increases and some color changes, and yeah. So I'm using the Isis Fiber Arts, their DK weight, which you determined was actually a very heavy.
No. I was having a bad hair day.
Okay. The Eryngium, is that how you say that?
Eryngium.
Eryngium colorway, which looks a lot like that, and apparently our monitor is having a bad hair day. And this one is...
And Isis Fiber Arts is a local Okanagan.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh! And this one is Black Mondo Grass.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim. Black Mondo Grass for a nice sort of tonal dark blue. It really does look like black in some lighting, but it is a very dark blue with some lighter spots in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is fun. I'm liking this so far.
And so I decided I better reknit it too, following my pattern. And I do have some other people who have said they'd be willing to do it, because one of the things that I realized was that the yarn that I used for my original one was the Allison Barnes yarn, and her DK comes in 115 gram skeins. The more common weight for a skein is 100 grams.
Yeah, so that's a big skein.
So I thought I better see what happens, because I really did use most of the yarn when I knit the original one. So I want to go through and just sort of see where are the best places to perhaps
Cut some rows.
Cut some rows, or
what is excess?
Yeah, or what you can expect to finish with 100 grams.
Yeah.
Because of course the other option would be to just if you had, some of another color. There's just a lace edge on the bottom, and you could perhaps just throw another color onto the bottom. So I just got to kind of look at that, because
that wouldn't be too bad, actually.
No, it would be nice. You could put a black on or something. Anyway, so I have got started again, and I am using yarn from Lolo Did It. Now, I need yours back.
Okay.
Because what I'm also doing is, of course, after I wrote the pattern up, I remembered that I had a different way that I would prefer to start this, using the I-cord all the way down. So if you look at the way Mike's...
I just did a slingshot cast on.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
At the way Mike's is done here. If you look at the top, you've kind of, like, the I-cords are starting right here.
Yeah, it's got that little...
And so at the end of the project, you put these together and you sew it to make it look continuous. But what I had forgotten to do when I knit my sample was to do my cast on so that you don't have that funny little thing up at the top. So that's the other reason I wanted to reknit it, was to see if doing that cast on would make any difference to the way it shaped out.
Okay.
And so far, so good. So that's good. So like I said, did I say I'm using yarn from Lolo Did It?
You did say you're using yarn from Lolo Did It. You didn't say what yarn.
So this is, so it's her DK, I'm just trying to get my fingers through the skein here, or through the cake. This is her 100% merino, superwash merino DK.
This is 100% merino too.
I'm pretty sure it's the same base. DK weight, 4-ply, 100 grams, 231 yards, which is the same as what Mike has.
Okay.
So Lolo Did It simple DK. And the colorway is I Heart Michonne. And anyone who is a Walking Dead fan will understand that reference.
Cool.
But I love these colors.
Yeah, that's a very... You know what it makes me think of?
Isn't that beautiful?
It makes me think of that Orchard series.
Well, but very different.
Yeah.
This is very different.
I don't know.
The other color...
Grape Orchard.
The other colorway I'm using, same base from Lolo Did It, and this one is called, is it Blackberry Jam or Blackberry? Yeah, Blackberry Jam. So you can see...
It's got...
There is like almost black, if not actually black, and the reddy, pinky or of the blackberries. It shows up really quite different on our camera. And in real life, it's not quite as well. Again, I don't know, because we've said before we get funky colors.
Yeah, the monitor that we're looking at is very red. There we go. So yeah.
I think those the pinky colors are not as pink.
Who knows? Maybe I put up a thing that said ignore anything Mom is saying.
Ignore anything. It looks just fine. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. It gives you an idea. So yeah, that's okay. It started out as your whip, and I took over.
Yep, but it's your design.
So there's that.
Yeah, that's my whip.
So what? We started that at a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I think I started this around 1 o'clock. It's 3 now, and of course we set up
and we've been doing this, and you had lunch.
And I had lunch, and
and I had to restart my. Oh, there's the other story about that. I've restarted it 3 times now.
Yeah, because someone can't read their own pattern. I'm having no troubles, by the way. But now somehow I'm like basically a row repeat short, so I should have like 8 rows, and I have 7. Yeah.
No, I have 6.
And you have the right stitch count.
But I have the right stitch count. I have no idea what happened. Knitting with Sue.
Yeah.
Woo! How to stretch that DK yarn out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, get the right stitch count, but do less rows.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Anyway, so I'm just going to carry on with that because that's how it is.
Yep.
So my other whip is my Fintry shawl.
Yeah.
Oh crap, I did it. I had to take my needles off because it's the same needle size. Bloody hell. Okay, well, those ones I might drop. Anyway, so my Fintry shawl, I'll show you the right side. Yes, I had to take my needles off because it's the same size needle for both of these shawls. So my Fintry shawl by Knox Mountain Knit Co. And yeah, I'm of 2 minds about how I feel about this shawl. Up until last night, I'd had no problems, just sort of trucking along.
Yeah.
And then last night, something went wrong, and I had to rip out 3 or 4. I spent about 2 hours trying to fix it, and then ripped it out. Anyway, so the yarn I'm using is Juniper Moon Farm yarn. This is the cinnamon. Don't pull too hard. You're going to pull out your stitches. The cinnamon colorway from Juniper Moon. And this is what do I want to say about this? It's 100% wool. Thank you. It's not superwash. I'm really...
You're not liking the superwash so
I'm
much.
not liking superwash so much. I'm knitting on a 4.5 needle. I know that because I needed it for
the other one.
For the other one.
Yep.
What else do I need to say about this?
I don't know. What do you need to say about that?
Anyway, so that's that. And for those of you who aren't familiar with, Fintry shawl, don't want to show you the pattern. This is the Fintry shawl by Knox Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. So that's what I'm working on. Now, my pros and cons about this particular pattern.
Okay.
Pro, it's easy to follow. It's well written. I love what's coming out. It's got, it's got the sort of the row of fairly mindless knit. It's not completely mindless, but fairly mindless knit. Mm-hmm. And then your row of more, you got to pay attention.
Yep.
That's where I have a problem because there is nothing about this pattern that's memorizable.
It's a different thing every row.
Every time, and that's, it's a lace pattern, right?
Yep.
And that's to be expected in a lace pattern. But even there, you would hope that there would be like enough of a repeat that you could, and there's no chart. I think I work better from a chart. I did actually have to sit down and I tried to write out a chart for myself because I was thinking, well, maybe if I have the chart, it'll make the knitting easier for me.
Okay.
It didn't. Because it's too, and then anyway. So just quickly, if you're going to do a pattern like this, you want to get some highlighter tape.
Mm-hmm.
Because you really have to, when you're doing it and you're looking back and forth, because you really, I can't do a row.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of rows that once I get it, I can just finish it off.
Yeah.
But there's a, what is it? It would be there's like a 16 stitch repeat across the row, and I seldom don't have to refer to it every time I repeat it.
Right.
So anyway, so that's just a heads up if you're ever doing something like that. Get some of that highlighter tape.
Yep, and get yourself a row counter.
Now, yeah, my row counter ring has come in very handy. That was the Christmas present from Michael. Don't know if you can see it there. Anyway, because I'm both keeping track of what row I'm on here and on the pattern, because sometimes my tape falls off.
Yep. And sometimes you bump the ring and it goes all over the place.
That is that. Oh, and so the other shawl, the one that I've designed.
Yes.
That Mike's test knitting.
Yes.
For me. I have decided to call that shawl Catherine Ann.
Catherine Ann. Now, what's the significance of that?
Tell me. What's the significance? Do you know?
Auntie Kathy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So while I was knitting that shawl, and even this Fintry shawl.
Yes.
I just kept thinking about her because autumn colors are really her kind of colors.
Okay.
Things that fall into those sort of autumny things. Now, honestly, I don't think... Actually, she might like this one I'm knitting. The Lolo Did It one. Mm-hmm. I don't think the red in the Allison Barnes... That russet color in the Allison Barnes yarn that I used. I don't think that... color would be particularly good for her.
Okay.
It might actually. Anyway, I'm naming it after my sister.
Okay.
So there you go. Catherine Ann.
Okay.
Mike!
Hi!
What do you bring to the table?
What do I bring to the table? I bring sheep. Oh Lord, so many sheep. Exponential sheep. What do I do with all these sheep that I am farming, taking care of in Lowlands? There's the box art. Now, I'll admit the box art doesn't inspire confidence. It's not. It doesn't go, "Hey, play me! There's a sheep."
And
some people building a dike, and that about describes what you do in the game. Lowlands is a marriage of two tried and tested mechanics, worker placement and farming. It's a good game. We played it 2-player.
Yeah.
Earlier last week. I really wanted to play this before I recommended it to you to know like exactly what kind of beast this is, because it came highly recommended to me, but without much description of the gameplay. Anyway.
And it is a beast.
It's a heavy game.
Yeah.
It's a there are lots of rules. There's a lot to do. But fundamentally, on your turn, you're choosing to do one of 5 things.
Yeah. Once you get going and you understand
sort of the symbology and what choices are available to you.
Yes.
It all flows nice and fast. So yeah, maybe I should say what you actually do in the game. In Lowlands, you are a sheep farmer in the Dutch Lowlands, and you need to divide your time between taking care of your sheep and building the dike before the dike comes in and floods all your sheep away. And you actually build the dike with wooden blocks on the board, and you build up the tide with more wooden blocks. So that's a nice sort of visual thing. Mm-hmm. And you have a little farm board in front of you with your sheep, and you place fences around, and you build buildings.
And then they breed.
And you get more sheep. Did you get enough room for your sheep to breed? I sure hope you did.
And you need to, you need to have enough pasture land for your sheep, but you also need to be building the dike, and yeah, there's this really, it's a really good game. There's a lot of strategic depth. It is.
It's a heavy game though, definitely.
To learn,
yeah.
But once you sort of figure it out,
yeah,
it's not that it's not difficult. You just sort of have to understand.
Yeah, and how things interact, and the symbology. The symbology can be a bit much of trying to figure out exactly what this one building will do for me, and
yes,
yeah. But I enjoyed this. I look forward to playing more of it.
Yes,
and yeah, Here, let me tell you that it is
2 thumbs up.
It is recommended for ages 14 plus, probably due to the rule heaviness.
Uh-huh.
Between 2 and 4 players, it takes between 50 and 100 minutes to play, which, yeah, that's about what we did.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and we were also learning as we go.
Yeah.
And, I mean, here, it's showing here, like, sort of the pieces that you use.
Mm.
But you quite literally have this layout in front of you.
Yeah.
When you're playing it. It's not just here's all these pieces and some of them you use sometimes.
That's how it's laid out.
That's how it's laid out, except that every player has one of these boards.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but yeah.
It's fun. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to playing it again. Mm-hmm. But it is definitely, I think, the easiest way to learn it, sort of once you have kind of a bit of a feel of what's going on, is to literally just sort of dive into it. And that's what we did.
Yeah, we had a couple points where I'd flip through the rule book and be like, oh, this is how that's supposed to work. Okay, we'll just do that for now on.
Going forward, we're going to follow the rules.
Yeah.
or you go along and you go, okay, there's this little number here. Mm. Or this was too easy. There has to be more to what
and then
I just
flip through the rules and be like, there is.
Yes, there's actually another step there.
Yeah, and yeah, but totally. I would call this a good introduction to the worker placement genre, which has there's a lot of games that fall under worker placement, and this gives you sort of a good introduction to that.
Have we played any other ones like that?
No.
Oh,
this
okay.
This is the only game that falls under worker placement that we've ever played.
So that's Lowlands.
Lowlands. Yeah.
Ever wanted to sheep farm and build dikes? That's the game for you.
Yeah, I believe I actually introduced this to you as, hey mom, you told me you wanted to farm sheep. Here you go. Farm sheep away.
Yeah. Watch out for that breeding cycle.
Yeah.
Catches you unaware and you lose potential sheep.
Oh yeah.
But then getting those sheep means you got to be ready for even more sheep next time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or you sell them.
Okay, never mind. We're going on about this. And so we move on to events from around the world. Okay. I picked up some sort of different stuff this time.
Wait, there's actually new events from around the world?
I don't know. Well, they must be. Well, no. I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay.
I refuse to answer that question because I don't know how.
Okay.
Okay. So, Saturday, January 12th, 2019.
2019!
There is a sit and knit at the ranch. At the Peaceful Prairie Alpaca Ranch in Prescott Valley, Arizona.
Knit among the alpacas.
Yes. Go and knit at the ranch. Sounds nice.
Yeah, it does actually.
We actually have that alpaca farmer in Vernon who asked us to, if we wanted to go and do that. I was, yeah.
You have an alpaca farmer in Vernon?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Probably quite a few.
Okay.
Okay. On Friday, January 18th, 2019, there is the Friday Knit and Natter at the Shed, at the Barden Shed, Brisbane, Queensland. Yes, be there. Okay.
Be there.
Be square. On Saturday, January 19th, 2019, it's the Knitting Weekend and Fiber Market at the Old Slater Mill at Pawtucket, Rhode Island, in the USA. All right.
Alrighty.
So there's 3 events from around the world, and of course, on the 12th, next weekend, Saturday, January 12th, in Airdrie, Alberta, is the Creekside Yarn Festival.
Which you're just really excited about.
I've just decided I'm really not going. I don't need to.
Yeah.
I'd love to, but I really don't need to.
Yeah. Would you have driven there? Because that drive through the Rockies would have been...
No, not right now. It would depend on the weather forecast.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Because when the roads are clear, they're clear.
Yeah.
You just don't want to be driving while it's snowing.
Yeah.
But even flying there, I could fly there for less than it would cost me to drive there and back.
That's true.
So that's what I was going to do. I was going to fly and rent a car and...
Okay.
But I'm not doing that.
Okay.
And so, Dee, a special message just for you. They are on their way. I promise.
We promise. They're on their way.
They've gone and they're out of my house and out of my hands. And thank you for your patience. Because that's that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do be sure. I believe we are at the end of the episode today.
Are.
So, do be sure to please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out when you do that. Follow us on Instagram, Close Knit Family Knitcast. Join us on Ravelry. All the information for that will be in the description.
Say hi to us.
Yep.
Tell us what you're up to.
There's an introduce yourself thread. Be sure to introduce yourself. Again, because we haven't mentioned it much, 20% off Allison Barnes Yarn with the code CloseKnit20. We are not being paid for that. Should I mention that?
Sure, you can mention that.
Yeah, we're not being paid for that. We just really like Allison Barnes Yarn.
Well, Allison sent us some yarn and she gave us the code. And we're passing that on to you because...
Otherwise it wouldn't go to use and Allison would have made that code for nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's to their benefit.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
Why don't you... yeah. Anyway.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Alrighty, so...
How do you like us so far? You know what? We never said welcome. It doesn't say here anywhere welcome.
Welcome. And welcome back.
Thanks for joining us.
Talk Okay, and
maybe we'll cut this and put it at the beginning and then cut to the end.
So you'll get that weird, like, why are they laughing and then they're not? And then he'll come back here. And then you'll come back here and it'll be like, oh, that's... Maybe we will do that.
Okay.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, join our Ravelry, and
keep your knitting close and your family closer.
Bye.